Hi, I'm Dr. Jeudi, your host, along with my co-host, Yoon, who's always behind the screen. Tonight, we are so honored to have a special guest who is going to share with us the wisdom of how to discover your true life purpose. Master Jeetu is a master teacher of the Tao Academy. He's also is a Tao hand practitioners, a Tao calligraphy practitioners, a Tao song practitioners, and Guanyin lineage holder. Now, I'm sure you may be guessing, what is all of this? I can tell you from a personal experience, it takes a lot to really gain any of these training. So it's such an honor to have Master Jeetu to be here with us to share his wisdom and his journey. Welcome, Master Jeetu.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for inviting me here to come and share my life story as well, my life journey. Everything is about journey to me.
It
and
is.
Deeply, deeply grateful and honored to serve this way, because what is life's purpose? Life's purpose is to serve. And just to share my life, how it started was since young. I have been kind of spiritual, but I didn't know the meaning of spirituality. My mother said to me, just light a candle, as we light a candle to the statues of all the idols that we have. And I just followed suit, do this, I did this. But then as you grow along, in life brings you pathways that you follow. I was born and bred in Kenya. So my life has been pretty, I would say, wild. Wild meaning really wild, because I come from a little village in Africa. And every Saturday, I used to just go out of the house in the morning and come back at night. And I used to be in the mountains with all my friends. We go for a swim there. There was a river there. So whatever, we enjoyed life that way. But I didn't realize that life is actually preparing you. It's like a seed that we plant in the soil, and how we water it, how heaven waters it as well. If the seed has to have a life in it, then it will grow much more and much nourished. So in that way, I am truly, truly blessed to have experienced my life journey in Africa, so that I became the usual terms streetwise, how to survive. Mm-hmm. And that was a big thing for me. So I'm so blessed, because in that survival mode became the service mode.
Wow.
So I'm deeply grateful that life takes you on a journey, and we all have a story. At the end of the day, we are all unique, and we all have a much, much better story to say. So I'm so glad to share my story with you as well.
Wow, you touched some amazing point of really powerful, I would say, quotation. Life is like a seed, and it depends on where that seed grow, the type of soil, the type of nourishment that it's getting, the sunlight, the water. It will determine the vitality of the plant. And that's the same thing with the human life. And I love it, Master Jeetu. I'm going to steal that.
Thank you.
But no, so, truly, when you state that, it is so true now that we see, and I look around and I see the younger children nowadays. You're talking about the seed that is growing. What type of environment are we creating for these children? We're putting a lot of fear into these children. And I think more and more of the creativity comes from, like you said, this wild side of you, as a child, where you go and you play and everything is like, nothing is impossible for you, right? You live life to the fullest, it
Yeah.
sounds like. And you're not afraid to take actions, to do things. And that's
Yeah.
what I saw in America when before this whole pandemic. People live life very daring, I almost say. Bungee jumping, plane jumping, roller coaster rides. And then all of a sudden, people stop living.
Yeah.
They completely stop and they become frightened. Even with their own family, they
Yeah.
become frightened to live. And I'm so glad that you came on today to share that wisdom. Because really, what is the true life purpose? What type of life are you living if you're living in fear? If you're living in not really finding your true joy, right? And I'm just like, wow, that was very, very powerful. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We mentioned earlier on, words carry a lot of power.
mhm,
It is how, in what context we use them, because what you flow out is what the universe will give you at the end of the day. And with regards to the pandemic, what I experienced is what people were going through. But it was like you couldn't even trust your hands.
mm,
We had to put all these chemicals on ourselves or whatever, wash our hands every time. So we cannot trust our own hands. So that is actually a serious situation.
mhm,
Because when heaven or divine God, whoever we believe in, have created us in one piece,
yes,
we we ourselves have become enemies of ourselves,
mm,
you know. And this was an eye opener for me when the pandemic started, and I felt, wow, that is so deep, because even our hands, like we cannot touch anything by mistake if we put it in our mouth or whatever, which we usually do, whatever reason. But this is the cycle of of karma. May I just say that word, because it is the cycle of karma, and how we project it and prevent it, or how we go on to this pathway of so-called life,
mm,
the journey of life. It
mhm,
is up to us. So you are right. When people have become in fear now, that they don't have fun. Therefore, the teachings of Dr. and Master Gangsha have really opened out hearts. Because why? The world needs that little, how can I say, to bring um, that light back, because we had lost that light.
mm.
But the teachings and the wisdom of what our beloved spiritual teacher have shared with us, it brings light back into you. When we walk into a room, we have a light switch,
Mm-hmm.
but the control is still in our hands, whether we turn it on or turn it off.
That's
We
powerful.
have to make that choice. It's like what I say to all of our colleagues and our soul family, our students, whoever we speak with. We can only cook food and put it on a plate for you, but you have to do your bit to eat that food, to nourish yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We can literally not feed anyone, unless, they're totally having many challenges. But you have to do that. Why? It's to nourish yourself, and it's to bring in that switch again. It's to turn that switch again, that I can be the light too. And why not? Everybody's entitled to be the light that they are. So therefore, it is very important for us to understand that our life matters, our journey matters.
Mm-hmm.
Why have we taken birth? What is our purpose? And this is where I started um, my journey to understand service more than spirituality. But now that after learning the wisdom and being a student of Dr. and Master Gangsha, our teacher, I now married both together, the service and the spirituality, to understand it deeper. Now, I've had my spiritual teachers as well. I've had many spiritual teachers in my life as well. I've also been to the Himalayas. I did a 21-day trek. It's not been easy, but
Pretty
it was.
impressive.
But as I mentioned earlier on, that my life that I spent in Africa helped me to survive the intensity of weather conditions, of natural conditions, walking and walking up the mountain, etc., etc. It helped me because it prepared me. Being in those conditions in Africa prepared me to be streetwise, that I could live in a jungle too. So becoming, I would use the word fearless. That we have to move forward.
Yes.
And this is the only way we can do it.
It's beautiful. I mean, you touch on a lot of things. The journey is up to us, but there's a lot of people who may be watching this who may not realize that they're on a journey to self-discovery, or really truly understand what that looks like. So share with us a little bit about your journey, for you to, like, this yearning that you have. And then how did you, decided that this is the path for me?
Yes. I came to UK in early 80s, and being born in Africa, I had a dual nationality, so I had a choice to come to UK. So I took that choice, and then I settled down here, and it's been, but it was still searching, it was still searching. And about, as I mentioned, I didn't understand the difference between religion and spirituality as well for a long time. With this,
so what is the difference?
The difference is, religion is like, I strongly believe religion gives you that, when you are born, it gives you that identity, right?
Okay.
So it gives you an identity that you're born into this color, this caste, or this creed, or however we say it. But spirituality comes to oneness. That is the difference. Because religion, in my opinion, I believe that sometimes it causes separation. Whereas spirituality, it comes in as oneness. And this is what our teacher teaches us, oneness. Everything is about one. And so therefore, for me, I understood the depth of spirituality actually after meeting my wife, because she was more spiritual. And when I watched her grow, so it was like a journey. So we both met, and we both had our past lives, but we both met, and it's like we went to one of the exhibitions, and we saw a stand with Master Shah's big poster on it, and we went to this. We were invited by one of Ila's friends for a book signing, so we accepted it. Now coming from, I'm a builder and decorator, renovate properties as well. So I I didn't understand much, and I said, okay, we'll just go for fun. So I just tagged along, as you do, And when we went there, it was like we went to so many stands, and they were all trying to offer you their services. But with Master Shah's stand, Master Francisco was sat there inside the stand, and he kept on smiling at Ila. And I looked at Ela and I looked at him and I said, why is a strange man smiling at my wife?
Uh-oh, in trouble.
So I said, let's check it out. So in that way, we went and we introduced ourselves, and we were in search. We were searching.
Did you know
And
that you were in search?
I didn't know at that time I was in search.
Okay.
To be quite honest with you, because I didn't have any intention of going there. I just thought I'm going to have fun, have a few, lovely, yummy dishes of try different food there. And that's all my intention was. It was nothing to do with the journey, the beginning of the soul journey. Um, so we went to the stand, and then we started talking to Master Francisco, and he gave us a reading, and like instantly the heart went pop, and the tears started rolling down.
Wow.
And I said, wow. And I mentioned to him straight away, I said, I feel I've come home.
Oh, wow.
And he smiled at me again, as he does, Master Francisco is very, but he connected more with us, and that's how the journey began in 2013. So it was wonderful that heaven actually planned this, or the pathway was getting cleared because of of what we were searching for as well. Indirectly, I wasn't searching for it, but my soul probably knew what was more important in this lifetime. Therefore, I always quote this book to everyone. The power of the soul is follow your guidance. When people ask me, what do you do? I said, the power of the soul. And this is to bring in our authentic self. Because, and I remember one thing that's always got stuck into my head and my heart is like, I'm sure many people have watched the movie E.T. And when he puts his finger out, E.T. go home. That vision has been inside my whole body since I watched that movie. And it is like for me, for example, it's going back home. This journey is enhancing my pathway and clearing the pathway for me to go back home.
That's so beautiful. The journey back home, there's actually a music that was created, and it's true. There's a lot of soul that's longing to go back home because planet Earth doesn't suit them and they don't know why, right?
Yes.
So I'm asking, how would you know? And it's interesting how you were saying back in 2013, you weren't looking, but heaven just know, right? And for me, it was back in the fall of 2014 when Master Sha book, I believe it was The Power of Soul, landed in my office. I had no clue how or why. And I don't know why I picked up that book and I read it. And after I finished reading, like completely in that one day, I looked, okay, where is this master? Where is he at? And I was like, this whole time, Master Sha was in Vancouver, right? The whole early 2000. And we went to Vancouver every summer.
Wow.
Never knew of Master Sha. And then 2015 comes around. I think I pick up the phone and I call, and I spoke with Master Patrick because there's a retreat in Hawaii in March of 2015. Wow. And then I spoke with Master Patrick about it, and I'm like, okay, I'm there. So yes, it's true. Like my soul wasn't, or not even understanding that I was looking for this spirituality or to even, and I tell you, the minute that I entered that retreat room, I was bawling the whole day. Wow. And not really knowing why, but it was just like your soul just knew.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, okay. So for viewers who really is watching this, and it's like, what is spirituality, or what is it that is my true life purpose? Our life purpose is not back in 2006, I have an awakening of humanity is not meant to be living in a hamster lifestyle where you go to work, you come home, you sit and watch TV, and then you get exhausted, you go to sleep, then the routines start again.
Yeah.
And then when they take a vacation, they do so much on their vacation, they're overexerting themselves, and then they get really tired. So it's not really a vacation.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. And so I realized they kept us in this busy mind for a reason, to keep us from really connecting to our true life purpose.
Very true.
Yes. And I'm like, when you mentioned the pandemic really, truly do a humanity a great service, is because that was the only time that we get to spend quality time with our loved one. Now, it's interesting, to some people who are not used to this lifestyle, they have trouble with their loved one being at home.
Very true.
This is supposed to be the opportunity, like, wow, I'm not running all over town. I'm not taking my kids all over town, being busy bee, and not really cultivating my true soul purpose of why I am here, right? So to me, I feel that our life purpose is to come here and really learn and explore and be creative. But yet we're not allowed to do that. Do you see that?
Very, very true. And thank you for bringing that up as well, because what I've noticed and I've seen in London, we call it the rat race,
Yes.
So it has been that, like you just mentioned, the hamster in the wheel. It is still going on. But when we see that hamster in the pandemic situation, it's like the hamster is being made loose.
Yes.
We don't know what to do, which direction to go in. This is where there has been a lot of relationship challenges, because partners have not spent this much quality time together to know each other further. Children have not spent time with parents because the parents have been busy trying to provide. And much more, families have not spent time together because everybody is into this so we call rat race, how to pay the next mortgage, or and it is true. But if we get the balance correctly from the beginning, it helps us. It helps us to move forward, but we have to get that alignment and balance in how we do it. Therefore, it is important for us to understand. It's very logical. I have a group of friends who I invite to come and at least hear me out about soul. And to them, I live in a woo world. They say, Jeetu, you just don't speak about these things to us. We are not ready for it. But they understand the cycle and they see the suffering. But everybody is focused outside. I'm just talking about generally. Many people are focused outside. You can see the media gives so much messages and newspapers and whatever. In England here, in London here, we have trains, underground trains, and there is free newspapers, and it's full of. I was just reading it, and I just glanced through it because to be quite honest with you, we don't even have a television in the room, and we don't know what's happening outside.
Which is good, yes. It's in America we say throw your TV away, go out and be with nature, because it's creating more fear. And you can actually tell those who sit and watch TV versus those who don't watch TV.
Yeah.
So, sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, perfect. Because as in everything that we do, the media actually, or whatever we take in as positive or negative, there is always a yin and a yang. There is a positive side and a negative side to everything.
Right.
So in life is generally the same. What we take in, and that is the essence that we are missing out on. We always look outside.
Yes.
You know, we will also talk about our neighbors that they are doing this, they've got this, da 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 da, but we don't look at ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we at? And this is one thing that I have put myself into that. You know, where am I at? If I can talk about these people, whether it's positive or negative, but I try and only speak positive,
Yes.
everyone. But where are we at? You know, where am I inside myself?
That is beautiful, Master Jeetu, because that concept alone should be taught at an
Yeah.
early stage,
Yes.
elementary school, right?
Yes.
Because with all this chaos going around the world of gender, of race, of whatever biases that we have, we should start with ourselves. Is
Very
that
true.
me? Do I have that kind of, behavior or judgment or thought, or right? Because
Yeah.
if we start, like you said, look inside ourselves and
Yeah.
ask ourselves that question, we wouldn't have the world that we have now.
No.
We would have a world of love, right?
Very, very true. Very,
Respect
very.
of one another, of compassion. But yet we're like looking, like you said, looking outside the world. And then we're screaming, here's the problem, here's the problem. I was telling my patient when this topic comes up about racism, about gender, about all this stuff, and I said, if there is a problem out there, and if we're discussing about it, what is the best way to do it is
Yeah.
not to continue and ignite the fire. The best way to let it and, control or solve it is to ask ourselves, are we that person?
True.
And if we're not that person, how do we make it to be a better world, right? And that's why I said, really, to solve any issues is, let's look inside.
That's very true.
Back in 2006, I had this dream, and I thought I was supposed to write a book. And it says Journey Inward, like a very vivid title. I'm like, is that supposed to be a title that I supposed? And now I realize when you say that, right? Heaven was teaching me to look inside. All of the solutions is inside of us. We have it. We just don't know that we hold this amazing knowledge.
We do, we do, we do. Because what I found out in that particular instance is that we are actually a reflection
Yes.
of what we see outside. And this is why it was important for me, because this is how the spirituality began to me as well. Because what I saw was happening outside was happening inside. So I have to align with my inside to make it um, much more progressive onto the journey that I'm on, and realign with my authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And this realignment and reconnection with your soul is very important.
Mm-hmm.
It is key for a soul journey, for any, because the soul journey serves physical journey, and physical journey serves soul journey. Because if you have good health, you will be able to serve others better.
True.
And move forward and probably live longer as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have challenges with your own health,
Mm-hmm.
it will be difficult to deal with others. Therefore, like the Love Peace Harmony song, I love my heart and soul. And that really, really resonates with what we do, because if you cannot love yourself, how can you love another?
Yes.
Then it becomes conditional love.
Right.
This is why when many people go through challenges about self-love issues, self-trust issues, self-worth. So in midst of all this searching, somebody I heard, or somebody mentioned to me that go and see yourself in the mirror and say yourself you love yourself. Since that day, I have been saying that to myself. I love myself. And it is not about ego. It
Mm.
is not about me, but it was about me having a conversation with my soul, saying, I love you. Because Jeetu being Jeetu in this lifetime is just the physical appearance of me.
Mm-hmm.
But what I carry inside, it's been reincarnated. If you believe in reincarnated, it's perfect. If you don't, it's perfect too. But
Mm-hmm.
I believe in reincarnation. So it's been there for many lifetimes.
Yes.
And that is what I need to connect to constantly on this journey, because the soul will clear the pathway for you.
Wow.
But you just have to trust it and believe in it. I will quote another quote here from Sai Baba. He says, always be patient and always trust. Only two things, patience and trust. In Sanskrit, they call it saburi and shraddha.
You know, that is so true. Patience is so hard to to obtain because
Yeah,
most of us are not patient. We want instant result in anything, right? It's like
very
even
true.
when we're having these health challenges for years, right? We when the minute we find out something that is very beneficial to us, we want instant result. But yet we have these conditions for a long time.
Yes.
And you know, when you say trust, when we connect, our team, when we connect, the message for us is always trust.
Yes.
Heaven always tell us, just trust.
That's very true. Very, very true. And I just wanted to share one more thing here. Is how once you start believing in yourself that this will happen, I was very much interested in massaging. So I really wanted to learn massages. And automatically, somewhere along the line, Ila and myself went to India and we stayed like a month in an ashram. So, and there I saw a course. So I became an Ayurveda massage therapist as well at the same time,
Mm.
learning the tricks of Ayurveda, how to heal and transform, because I started searching internally and things started happening. And this way, I actually, I believe that I have become a different person than I was before. And much calmer, much, much more different, I would say.
Mm.
Because when you are young and we call it the hot blood,
Mm.
like you're more young and always ready to go. And
You can take on the world.
but that's outside again, you see,
Mm-hmm.
because you have not searched enough inside. And this is
Mm-hmm.
the journey that I have been through, is to search inside.
Wow.
And that really makes it more fruitful, because when you start connecting with your inner self
Mm-hmm.
and start listening to yourself, then you know that the limitations actually are non-existent.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful.
because because it's what is a soul. Soul has no limits. It's actually, it is your being, how you claim to be or proclaim to be. It is up to you again. If we, like yourself, you took your journey on, you read the book and you searched and you wanted to go, so it was your soul guidance
Mm-hmm.
that was very powerful. It had taken over your other thinking, because you just wanted to focus, and it took you, to Hawaii and to meet Master Shah.
Mm-hmm.
So in similar instances, when our soul is on a journey, it will take us places, and sometimes we don't even realize it. Oh, how did I get here?
Oh yeah. I have many of those incidences. I can relate to that very well.
So yeah, and then when you start reconnection with yourself, it's been it becomes a way of life. For us, for Ela and myself, is the purpose. The purpose for us is just service.
Mhm.
How can we serve more? But in midst of this, we serve ourselves too, you know. So when we serve ourselves, that means heaven is opening doors of how to serve others.
Mhm.
And this way, the journey is how can I say, it's becoming more the pathway or the clearing of the challenges. Because if you're walking into a forest, obviously there is no route there. Sometimes you have to carve the path yourself.
Mhm.
So you take the axe or whatever with you to cut the tree or to cut the branches to make sure you have this path. And our soul journey is the same. This is the searching. And now that we are both on this journey, the the most important thing is we have surrendered our lives to service.
And
How
with
can we
that
serve?
service, how has that changed you? Like there's, well, some people would say, okay, well, I'm very busy trying to make a living. How can I go out and serve? I can't even help myself.
Yes, yes, we have actually, you see, as I mentioned, trust earlier. You
Hmm.
trust heaven. And in your service, like in the joy of others lies our joy. Eli has used that quote before. But in the service of others lies our joy too. And obviously, yes, I still go to work and earn a living because we have bills to pay. But the service part, even at work, if I go to work, if I'm painting a wall, I'm not going to paint a wall just for the sake of painting it. I
Hmm.
give it love. I write a calligraphy on it and then I paint over it and I practice and whatever. And I'm busy chanting all the time. So my mind is totally um, occupied in that higher frequency for my journey. And the job that I do or the service that I take on to paint a house, the soul of that service is aware that I'm doing it, giving it love to pay my bills. You
In a
know,
way, we say, um, when you do things, do it with love, because and that's what I say too. The work that you do, if you're not finding joy or if you're not enjoying what you do, find something that you love to do so you can
yes,
have joy in it. So then that allows your love for life to even
yes,
expand.
yes, very, very true. Because you're right, totally right. Because a if you don't find the passion in it, then you're doing it for the sake of doing it. To me, that is half-heartedly,
Yes.
and not even half-heartedly. Sometimes it could be less, but you're not putting your full heart into it.
Hmm.
And so everything that we do is to bring in joy,
Hmm.
to bring in joy. But the service of the joy is the number one. How can we help this person? How can we help others
Hmm.
to make them much more happier and healthier? And that is how we serve. And the pandemic has actually been a blessing to us because in England, in London here, when you hire a hall, they're pretty expensive as well. So to cut that cost, we are now on Zoom or
Hmm.
Skype or whatever. We'll use all these platforms to be on, and that has really helped us because then we can spread wider.
Mm.
you know it's not that a person in US cannot attend us or whatever, but we can spread wider, and that is one way to open hearts of people, because who you connect with is sometimes who you connect with. There is always I like this person, I like that person, but that is because you connect from heart to heart and soul to
Hmm.
soul.
Hmm. It's true.
Because there are some ways that you connect mind to mind, because then your minds are both like in another frequency. Whereas when the heart's frequency meet, that is actually when you reconnect. I may use that word.
Mm,
The heart frequencies have to align. Then there is no separation then.
I like that one.
So
When you're talking about the heart frequency having to align, I share a lot when I'm explaining about the situation that people are in, their emotional upheaval of fear, anxiety, and all that. I use Dr. David Hawkins a lot because it's true. Our heart frequency is the biggest electromagnetic field.
yes.
And that can be proven by science through the Heart Math Institute. So when you say that the heart frequency has to match, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. They have to be at love frequency.
Yes.
That is above 500.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Because we have to be in that frequency all the time. Otherwise, other things will start affecting us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like nourishing our soul journey, nourishing our health as well, our physical journey. And then we allow all this negativity of media or relationships to affect us.
Mm-hmm.
That actually tries to affect our soul journey, which we should always stand up to and say, no, nothing is going to affect us. Mm. And this is how I guess the Buddha survived as well, because he went to so many instances in his life journey. Mm-hmm. And he had to go through the process. Everything is about the process in life. Think of a diamond. Mm-hmm. If a diamond is being dug through in the stones or in the mountains or wherever it comes from, then there is a process, because otherwise it's only a stone. Right. There is no value to it. People don't understand it. But it only becomes a diamond because it has been put through the system, the process of it becoming. You have to cut it to shape, you have to grind it, you have to polish it, you have to put stuff on it for it to become more shinier and shinier. Mm-hmm. This is exactly our life journey. Each and every one of us human beings. How we go into and increase the temperature of that shining and polishing, it's up to us. How are we ready to go forward? It's like when you mentioned bungee jumping. Mm-hmm. It's to take that fearless leap. Mm-hmm. That you are going to survive when you are landed down and right. Coming back up, whatever. Same thing here as well. That when the diamond is being polished, you are going to become the shiniest one and join the rest of the shiniest ones. Mm-hmm. Same thing with the lotus. The lotus flower has to grow through pop out through the mud and the insects and the snails and the snakes as well into that dampy water. But it has to kind of maneuver itself, looking for the light on top to become the best possible flower that it can. Our life is the same. We want to become the best lotus of our own self. Mm-hmm. To bring in that authenticity of where we come home, of where we come from, to go back to home.
That and is this, so, yeah. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And this all comes from the wisdom of Dr. and Master Gangsha, our spiritual teacher. When you get deeper, because he shares the normal wisdom as well, but he shares the secrets of the wisdom of the journey, of the soul journey or the Tao journey, however we call it. And that is what enlightens a human person, a human being, mm-hmm. is the secrets which he is sharing. He's very unique. And I will just read a quote that one of my other spiritual teachers shared on Facebook. And it says, "Let us use what God has given us to really serve his children." Wow. So I strongly believe, because everything has been given to us. How we use it, again, it's up to us.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Because we matter.
We are. Yeah, we do. We do matter.
Yeah. But in the midst of all this, being in the rat race and in the hamster wheel, we are forgetting ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what you mentioned about the young children now. As soon as this came into action,
Oh my gosh, yes.
there is no social life. Everybody is just on the internet. I went on trains last month, just going to a job, a workplace. And I walk in there and I'm busy chanting my mantras and I just walk in with a smile. But nobody can see you smile because you have to wear a mask. But I'm still smiling. And each and every person is on a mobile phone.
Mm-hmm.
There is not one person who is not on the phone. And that is what I noticed. And it was like so sad. And I'm speaking to their souls. I said, why don't you all just at least look at me? I'm here, sitting here in front of you. I'm looking at you. And it's like they look up, they look back down. Look up, look back down. And there was no human connection. It was like machines sitting in that train. And when that happens, the hearts are closed. Does it make sense?
Yes, big time.
Because you can see the unbalanced emotions of worry. In case if I speak to this person, what will happen to me? In case if I touch this rail, what will happen to me? God has given you hands. Hold the rail. What the people here in trains were doing, holding the rail with their arms, with their elbows, sorry. They won't even touch the rails. They're going like this. And if the train stops all of a sudden, they can bounce off. But it's like watching all these instances, and I'm thinking, wow, what has life come up to?
Right? It's truly is sad to see that, and you are correct. It's like we have turned the world into, I would say, zombies, which
Living zombies.
Living zombies, yes. Because truly, and we're creating these children to have no emotions because you can't see the expression of an adult. And it's like you said, God gave us everything we are blessed with, even the immune system. And you can't even talk about that. You can't even talk about your amazing, I always say, God gave you the best armed forces in the whole entire planet.
Yes, very true.
But
it's very true. It actually helped me because I constantly chanted love, peace, harmony on the train, and also, but it's like an instance that where are our values in life? This is what the pandemic actually taught us for a little while, I guess. Because if we understood that staying at home and re-evaluating ourselves, with our relationship, with our finances, with everything else with our health, whatever goes on around us, if we re-evaluate, we can actually be in a better space. But if we go into that, as you mentioned, the fear mode, then we are back onto that race. We just lost the track for a while. How we survive again, and if you want to stay on that rat race, then it's an individual choice.
So it seems like, Master Jeetu, that you were able to really find your true life purpose, and that is when you help other people, you find joy in your own life. So what are some of the things that you help people? That you do to help others?
We serve communities. We had just before the pandemic, we started off serving a local community, It's one of the temples, and we started off serving these old women. The youngest one was 70,
Wow.
and the eldest one was 90 plus. But there were only 15 who joined initially. But in a space of 1 year or less than a year, we had 90 women coming up.
Wow.
And these women were all, um, many of them were widows because of the age, and however, the husbands have passed away or whatever. Very few were still in, uh, in couples. But the understanding of their way, and for them to understand what religion, like religion and spirituality, to them, they understood religion. And we asked them, what do you think about religion? And their opinions were different. They have their own opinions, and yes, it matters too, because the way they have been brought up is how they know only. Because in those lives and those stages of life, when they're 90 years old now, they have been brought up maybe in a suppression, maybe forced to, maybe however the situation and the circumstances are.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, they have been brought up in that particular mode of life, that they only understood what they knew. Like for women, for example, like I'll speak to you about my own mother. Her focus was only to look after my father.
Mm.
And I think many cultures did see this,
Yes.
that once the woman is married, she looks after the husband and the husband's family.
That's what
And
most Asian cultures too.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and we notice that with all this, but the new generation don't look at that way. And we asked them, do you know what is karma? They
Mm-hmm.
said, yes, we know what is karma. So we asked them, what do you think karma is? So when they started answering questions, and then we, with the wisdom of our beloved teacher, we shared some of that wisdom. Obviously, we could not um, share the Chinese mantras straight away. So we chanted in English, greatest love.
Mm-hmm.
They understood what love was afterwards. They didn't know what love was,
Wow.
because the love was the missing equation in their lives.
Mm.
Because they've always been there, got up, done things for children, for husband, to make breakfast, to make sure school is done, this money is earned, helping in every which way they can.
Mm-hmm.
And in that way, after they met us, and taking our love, peace, harmony, and some days we serve with meditations, etc., they were all chanting Da'ai, after a while.
Uh-huh.
And they were so happy. And when the instances, like when they were chanting and tracing calligraphies, the pain was going. And I was surprised as well that how much spiritual wisdom they have inside them, but it wasn't awakened. So we just had to push those buttons, like we have a uh, key tabs on our laptop or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but we had to press the appropriate buttons for us to bring in that person,
Mm.
to bring in the authenticity, for them to understand that they matter,
Mm-hmm.
and they understood that. And that was very heart touching. It was very, very heart touching for them to understand. And they were in tears as well, that, wow, my 5-year pain of my shoulder pain is gone. And they could one of them could lift their arms, many, many instances. And that was the beginning as well of us going out wider to
Wow.
to start spreading the wisdom. And then we Ila went to some schools, and we introduced ourselves in some schools as well. So teaching children as well. And in that way, we have actually built a community now here by the
That is so
grace of
wonderful. So
divine
you're
vows.
creating a very um, peaceful, loving community because you impacted the individual one at a time. And with that individual, they can go out and they can impact their family, who
Yes.
then can then impact their hometown, which
Yeah.
then it's like this ripple effect of throwing a pebbles into the water, and the pebbles start small and it rippled out. That is so
Yes.
beautiful. Thank you
And,
for
and
doing that.
and love is the essence of everything.
That is for sure.
You know, love is actually the A to Z end of everything. And once you walk in with love, you spread the love, as love melts all blockages and transforms all life. So everything, when you do it with love, it comes from the heart. It's the
Unconditional love.
opening. Yes, unconditional love. But there again, for instances, the beginning might be conditional. But once you open another layer of the heart, the unconditional bit comes in as well.
Mm.
Because the condition comes from here and the unconditional comes from here. It is only 1 foot difference. So we have to build the bridge in the middle. And that is what we are doing, to build this bridge so that the conditional becomes unconditional.
That is beautiful.
So that is our motto. And our motto is we leave no one behind. We all our students are with us. We're all the same. It is not that we are their teachers or they're our students. They're our teachers too, and we are their students.
Wow.
Like I'm
That's
a student
powerful.
of yours here at the moment.
Oh no.
And I'm honored to be a student of yours.
Thank you for being our amazing guests who are sharing your wisdom. We're at the top of the hour. Master Jeetu obviously holds a lot of credentials. He's a Dao practitioner, Dao hand practitioners. So for people who are not really familiar what that is, it's an energy healing that he can serve from wherever he is to anyone around the world, and remotely. He's
Yes.
also a Tao calligraphy practitioner. Again, that can be done remotely. And a Tao song practitioner. I have yet to experience that, Master Jitu. I was gonna say, are you gonna do any demo? But we're at the top of the hour already, so we have to have you come back.
Anytime. I'm honored to serve anytime. But maybe before I go, I can give you all a blessing. How about that?
Sure, that would be great. Hi, Dion. Hi,
Maybe.
everyone that joined. Thank you. Look, Master
So
Jitu
just
is
make
going to offer a blessing. This is wonderful.
so just make one request.
Okay,
Any
our viewers,
request.
pick one request.
For any
Okay.
pain, health, relationship, or business, finance, whatever. Just make one request.
That is so generous of you. Okay, thank you so
And
much.
I will chant my song for you. So just close your eyes and visualize beautiful light. Just visualize light in your heart, no matter which request you made, but visualize light in your heart and remain in that light or field of life, field of light, and just relax your shoulders. Hey ya 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 yo ya. Hey ya 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 yo ra ri ri. Hey ya 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 yo ra ri ri. Hey ya ya yo ya. Hey ya 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 yo ya yo ya yo ya yo ya yo ya. Hey ya ya yo ya. Hey ya 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 yo ya. Hey ya ya yo ya ya ra ri ri ra ra. Diddly way ya word I we ya widdly we ya way ya way ya ya way ya way ya 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 hey. Hey ya 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 yo ya hey ya yo. Hey ya 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 yo ya hey ya ya diddly way ya ya wo. Just keep your eyes closed. Feel the light and the love nourishing you, opening your heart further to become a better person, to become a better human being, and to embark onto the next level of your journey. How? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wow, I hope you feel that. So if you do make a comment, oh my goodness, I was asking for my low back, and right after you just starting, I can feel my heart just like opening, and then my low back just kind of dissipating. I was like, wow.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was so powerful. And I love your soul song. That was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. So how can people reach you for your service, Pastor Jeetu?
Thank you so much. And firstly, I give all our gratitude to Divine Tao Source and our beloved spiritual teacher and father, Master Dr Gangsha, for everything that I am here today. It is because of him, and it is because of his blessings. To get in touch with us, we have a website, ilakhagram.com. You can get in touch with us. All our details are on it. We offer various services on our website. And we look forward to connecting with each and every one of you. And join us anytime onto this journey of service.
Wow, thank you so much. So we will put it's Khagram.com.
Yes.
Yeah, so and we'll put that on the Facebook page as well. So to discover your soul purpose really is to find what brings you the most joy. Master Jeetu was able to find that through serving other people. The more that he served others, the more joy that he feels in his life. And therefore, to really discover what is it that you are here to do that brings you the most joy, that is your true purpose. And if you are having a hard time finding what is your true purpose, or stuck in life, or challenges, whether it's financial, relationship, whatever aspect that you're going through, feel free to reach out to Master Jeetu, and we'll put his information on. And also, don't forget to buy us a cup of coffee through you so that way we can continue to serve you as well. And to be a members of Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, you actually have intimate time with us, with the team. And so we are so happy that everyone joined us, and we got in some great comments there as well. So thank you to our viewers. Until next week, we love you. Bye for now. Thank you, Master Jeetu.
Thank you so much for the honor. Thank you. Thank you. Love you, everyone.